I'm here with April Denmon of Denham Group. She's who I consider to be an innovator, change maker, and a dream maker, a star in her field, one of the most stellar realtors in the game. But more than that, you care about community, you care about people. You are a philanthropist, and you give back in so many different ways. And I am honored to be here with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
I've appreciated you from afar. So if the phone rings, y'all, while we're doing our thing, she is actively working. And so she carved out a little bit of time to answer the 5 questions that I ask everybody we get a chance to sit down with. This conversation is about wealth and home ownership. Like I said, it's your field, it's what you do. But before we get into all that, let's talk about you.
Okay, so first I want to say thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here with you guys today. My name is April Denmon. I'm a Denver native. I grew up right here in Green Valley Ranch in Montbello. I was a cheerleader at George Washington High School when Chauncey Billups was there. And after graduating from high school, I went to Clark Atlanta University and I got my degree in criminal justice and I got a minor in pre-law. Wow. And so I am a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And today, right now, I'm supposed to be in Atlanta. We are celebrating our 25 years of being in our sorority. So this is our silver year. So shout out to all the sororities, but especially my lovely ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. So when I graduated from Clark Atlanta University, I wanted to go to law school. So I started working for Arapahoe District Courts here in Colorado, and I went all the way up to a court clerk 3. And so I took the LSAT the first time. I failed it. I was devastated because I never fail anything. I'm always like the overachiever. So in that, I started working in the downstairs where they do bonds, they do divorces, civil cases, criminal, civil, everything. I was kind of doing that. So at the time, I had a lot of friends that were bail bondsmen, and they were like, well, you should just become a bail bondsman. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be an attorney. I'm going to be a judge. Long story short, and this is part of my story, so I don't mind sharing it. I failed the LSAT again. And I was like, what's going on? Now I see why God had me not pass that test because that wasn't my path. But long story short, I ended up getting my bail bonding license. And so I started my own bail bonding company. I left Arapahoe District Courts. In the first week that I was doing bail bonds, I made $10,000 cash one day. This is almost 25 years ago. Wow. So I was like, forget law school, forget being an attorney. I'm going to be a bail bondsman. So I bought my first house as a bail bondsman, and that's kind of what got me into real estate. So here I am 2 decades later as a real estate agent. So I do talk a lot, but my stories do actually come back together. So
they need to hear that. That's good stuff.
And I just, so now I'm in a space where I've been doing real estate. I have my own real estate brokerage here in Colorado for 15 years. And so I'm now over at Keller Williams. I have a group, the Denmon Group. I have a team of ladies right now, and we are just taking over and making our mark. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So that is ultimately what got me into real estate.
Okay, that's a great. I didn't know that.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we watch God create and orchestrate the steps, right? So where He wants you to be and how you can still create impact. This is good stuff.
Yes, thank you.
And so now I can see folks saying maybe I should look into bail bondsmen or maybe look into real estate. But but I love the way you bounced back. You didn't give up. You just pivoted and adjusted. I think that's an important portion of your story.
Thank you.
I appreciate you sharing that.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so can you tell me about yourself? So you've been here at Keller Williams for how long?
So I've been at Keller Williams with the team for a year. So when I left my brokerage 2 years ago, I went to Your Castle Real Estate, and there are 800 agents there, and I was the number 1 agent out of 800 agents. I think I have my picture hanging in here somewhere.
We'll get some B-roll in that for sure.
So I was the number 1 agent there. That was really exciting. So then I brought my team here. We were the number 2 team last April out of all the Keller Williams teams, and that's for the downtown office and for the Denver office. So thank you. And so obviously, like, real estate is kind of my passion, what gets me going every day. But I am also, like you said, a philanthropist. I've been doing that for many years. growing up, my parents were always entrepreneurs. And so they always instilled in me that you have to be a good person. You have to give back kind of what you put back. What you put out, you're going to get that back. And so from the time I was 5, we were doing community service, just always just giving. So when I started my real estate company, I wanted to give back to the same community that supports me. So we're very big on community service. I am one of the founding members of a philanthropy group here in Colorado. It's called SPIN, Sisterhood and Philanthropy Impacting Needs. Wow. And we just celebrated our 10 years this year. So we do a lot in the community and just giving back. I am a mother. I have a son that is going to be 1. That's going to be 1 next month. So that's been a new role for me because I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years. I had a barbecue restaurant here in Montbello. So I had Bell Bonds, barbecue. I've done a lot of different things. And I have a couple things that I'm working on now that we might talk about later. But I'm just a lover of life, a lover of all things, a giver. And just one of God's childs doing his work here.
You're doing great stuff. I didn't know you were doing all that. I appreciate this time so I can actually get to hear all of the wonderful stuff. This entrepreneurial spirit that you carry has to be exposed so that you can inspire girls all over the world who watch it. Now, if she can do multiple things, which means I don't have to just be one thing. I can be great at a whole bunch of stuff.
Absolutely.
And so I certainly appreciate your humanitarianism, the philanthropy stuff, all that stuff you do to give back. Certainly keeps you balanced. And then now you got a baby at the house. You know, listen, I pray your strength. Early mornings, late nights, and the grind don't stop.
Yes, absolutely. That's real.
Good. Well, tell me real quick about your favorite book and your favorite quote. I know I gave it to you late, but I'm sure you might have something on the wall because the office is lovely.
Thank you. So I have so many favorite quotes. I think one of my favorite quotes is from my dad that I just live by. And he has a couple, but I think one of my favorite ones is don't let 1 second of anger ruin your entire life.
I like it. Okay. Yeah,
1 second.
Yeah, give me the whole quote and then put your daddy's name on the back so we can blast that one out. Yeah, give credit where credit is due.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's just one that is just really important for me. And of course, there's many others. So I am all about being real, being transparent. So my life is so busy that I'm not really a book reader, a book lover. I know that I probably shouldn't say that, but I am not really a person where I can just sit down and read books. I'm like, I don't know, just being an entrepreneur, having different businesses, like I just can't. But I would say over the years, some books that have kind of stuck with me is probably 48 Laws of Power.
Okay. I love it. So then if you were ever just on a plane and didn't have access to your phone, but you could download a book, that would be the one you go back and reread?
Probably like if I'm on the plane and I like to meditate. I'm a futuristic person, so a lot of my time, like instead of just diving into books, like I feel like I create and make a lot of what I would find in books.
I love it. And
I don't know anything. I mean, I know, and I'm not saying I know everything, but I just really have a future. Like when I was 5, I was like, I want to be an attorney. By the time I'm 40, I'm going to be a judge. So my mind is always working on what that next step looks like. So just sitting in a book, I would get so bored so quick.
I got you.
And I'm being real, y'all. I'm like, this is straight from my heart. I would rather be real than sit up here. And
people are going to see your success, see your journey, hear about it. So what are the breadcrumbs we leave behind so people can follow in your shoes? One of those has to be some of the codes and creeds. And the inspirational moments we live by. That's why I asked about the quote. What if there's going to be one book? Somebody go find the 48 laws. And at least peruse them. So that you can, draw something. If not for all 48, you can get 4 or 5 of them. Right. Revolutionize the way you think in your life. Absolutely. Okay. Now, I ask everybody, what's your favorite book? Quote? I've got some really gargantuan answers, like that's a cold-blooded book. Like I should grab that book, and then you're honest. I'm not reading. I'm gonna tell you right now. But I appreciate that. If you're taking good notes and you're tracking your success and your failures, like I said, those are the breadcrumbs we leave behind, so we can follow in our footsteps. So that you can also look back and know what to be thankful for, and how to purposely manage regret, right?
Right.
There's do-overs, and then there's some stuff you just say, God, no, this,
Yeah.
if this didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
Exactly.
There's certainly some moments of appreciation.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And I appreciate you being honest. Like, we hit one of these questions, you go, nah, I can't answer that.
Yeah.
We're good. Do you have a mentor?
I have several mentors.
Okay.
And so one of my main mentors growing up was my mom and dad. Okay. They both had their own businesses. So my mom, she had her own cleaning business for over 30 years. So she instilled that get up, work hard, ask anybody for anything. I rarely saw her take off. Snowstorms, blizzards, she's there. If her team wasn't there, she would still be there. So I saw her every day get up, consistently grind, consistently hustle, and that, like, she instilled so much into me. My father, he was more of a hustler. He was out. He had every business you could think of. Early on in life, he was the first Black Coast Guard to be on a picture in ever, and I'll get a picture of that for you guys. Please. And so he had a trucking company. You're from Colorado, so I don't know if you remember Fast Eddie's Skating Rink in the Dahlia Shopping Center. Yes. Black owned. Brother Jeff used to be my dad's DJ. Oh, wow. So Fast Eddie Skating Rink. So when I was 3, I was learning how to skate. Right. Then my dad had a Club Shalimar in Park Hill that a lot of probably your parents, grandparents used to hang out at. Possibly. And then I don't know if you remember all of the blues shows at the Holiday Inn. Bobby Blue Bland, Denise LaSalle, he would bring in these big shows. If you're familiar with Sammy Mayfield, Ricky Earl, he produced some of he had a production company, a promotion company. Nice. So he was just always doing stuff. Later in life, he opened up the barbecue restaurant. He was also the founder and president of the Buffalo Soldiers Motorcycle Club right here in Colorado, the Denver chapter, Mile High chapter. Has traveled. You ride? I have a Vespa, and that's as far as we're going to take the riding skills. But my dad was really into bikes, big biker. Right. We had the barbecue restaurant. He became a comedian. His name was Old School G, and he used to do a lot of shows over at the Comedy Works here in Colorado. Okay. So I saw him fail many times. Right. I saw many businesses, and this is just a few that I'm naming that were successful, but there were many that he started that maybe didn't get as successful, but he never gave up. And he's like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'm going to go to the next one. And so he just had that hustle, that entrepreneur. So any mentors, it's my mom and dad. My dad, he passed away from a heart attack 10 years ago, unexpectedly, 2 days before after his birthday. And he's still my mentor, even though he's long gone. Like, he's left and instilled that much into me, where 10 years, I'm still like, my dad would do this. He would say this. He's sending me signs showing me to do this. So those are, and my mom, thank God, she's still here living, great health, doing good. Yeah. So, yep. Okay. Well, it sounds like you've been launched into entrepreneurial thinking. Yeah. Just took some steps to get you there. Yes. And so with all of the things you've done, I tip my hat to you. Thank you. As you continue to manage, and it's always important to be able to have those ancestral moments where we appreciate, the work ethic we've been able to inherit from folks around us. Yes. Absolutely. That doesn't sound like you were just going to have some normal job. As much as you might just clock in, clock out. Yep. The not the pressure, but the inspiration of your parents pushes you to greatness. Yeah, so I love that. So, and I have a lot. And sorry, I'm like, and back to like when my dad used to bring in shows like LL Cool J. I'll never forget. I was in the 5th grade. I got to go to the LL Cool J concert. Yeah. My dad was really good friends with Barry Faye, so we always had like. So I was doing all this stuff at a very young age. Exposure is everything. Right? It is, yes. Absolutely. Yes. Tell me your dad's whole name so we can capture that. Yes, so my dad's name is April Denmon, and his motorcycle name was Music Man. Music Man. Okay. Nice. Very good. Make sure you send me those pictures. I will. I will. We try to get those in. Okay, absolutely. I will. Okay. You have to deal with the capacity of failure and success. How are we balancing that? So I feel like right now that 2 decades in, I've had so many failures, and I know there's going to be more failures ahead, but I feel like I'm more prepared for them. I'm more equipped for them. Things that I've been through in my journey would have probably broken a lot of people. I'll give you one example. For instance, when I first started, I had my first house built in Green Valley Ranch many years ago. It was a new construction. So I was living downtown. I was living in Green Valley Ranch. single, didn't have any kids. I had a 5-bedroom, 3,000 square foot house. Back then, it was back in the country. So I'm like, I want to live downtown. So I moved downtown, and at first I was renting at an apartment complex, 1600 Glenarm Place. It overlooked the city, overlooked 16th Street Mall. It was my favorite place. So I would just sit on my patio and just meditate and say, I'm going to be the number one realtor in downtown. I'm going to take over all these buildings. When I moved there, I didn't know what any of the buildings were. So I started working for a real estate company downtown. It was word that there was a young woman of color down there. At the time, there were no people of color downtown working as far as real estate agents go. There were a lot of older white men, a lot of older white women that were in the game that had been doing it for 30 plus years. So here I am fresh out, coming in. And they kind of told me that I was not welcome downtown, that I should probably go back to Green Valley Ranch to do real estate. So if I would have packed up my rental and went back to my Green Valley Ranch, I would not be who I am right now. Right. So at that time, again, I tell you, my dad, he's my mentor. And I've shared this story before. I'll never forget, I'm driving down 15th Street downtown, and I'm bawling, I'm crying. I'm like, I'm not wanted here. They don't want me here. I call my dad crying, Dad, they don't want me here. And my dad said, if they don't want you there, you go build your own table and you build your own chairs, and that's where you sit. So if I wouldn't have had my dad to give me that, I probably would have broke down. I probably would have moved back. But my dad was so powerful, and I saw him deal with racism. I saw him deal with, I was like his best friend, his road dog forever. So the things I saw him experience, I was like, that's not going to break me. So those same realtors, some of them have passed away, but some of them look up to me and respect me so much now, 20 something years later. So am I going to have failures? Am I going to deal with things? Yes. Yeah. But I know who I am now, that I have made myself a multi-millionaire myself. Nobody, I mean, a lot of people help me do that, but nobody can take that away from me. So that's one thing now. I'm going to face it, but it's going to be a different facing versus this little scared girl who was in a room with a whole bunch of people pushing her up against the room. Right. That's not going to happen now.
And I haven't even gotten my 5 questions. You are
these are the 5
questions.
I'm thinking these are the 5 questions.
This is good stuff. So every time you say something dynamic, I'm like, well, I'm going to piggyback that too. You look in the camera and tell folks, if they don't want you at the table, go build your own. Tell them.
Okay, you guys. So this is real advice here. If you are not wanted at a table, you are going to go and you're going to build your own table. Right. You're going to build your own chairs. And guess what? You're going to sit there with your crown on and be the king or the queen that you are. Because if you're not wanted there, that energy, that space, that was not for you. So you create your own. And what you create, if you're creating and you're doing it out of pure intentions, out of love, you're being a good person, you're putting the work in, that table will be full. Trust me. Mark my words.
I'm Larry Thomas. I approve this message. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. Okay, now let me get to the 5 questions.
Let's get to these 5 questions.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Here's number 1. What is the most challenging and most rewarding thing about your role?
The most challenging thing about my role is I get to work with people who never thought that they could buy a home before, who thought that they were going to rent, who thought they were going to be on Section 8, and now we're selling their home and they're making $200,000, $300,000, and they're taking that and putting it onto their next home. Yeah. That's the most rewarding for me, is that we are creating generational wealth. I have created so much generational wealth here in our community that I don't even know if there's enough zeros to accumulate like the number of wealth. So to me, that's so special. Buying a home is probably one of your biggest investments that you're going to make. Right. So it's like, I have to be the expert. I have to know what I'm doing. I have to be doing classes. Like I told you, I've been a real estate agent for over 20 years and it's full-time real estate. So it's like, this is my craft. I'm perfected at what I do. The challenging part is that you may work with this person we got their dream home set, everything's going, we're about to close, and something happens with their credit. Something happens where they're not able to get it. Or in this role, we deal with a lot of stress. As a realtor, you are a therapist, a psychiatrist, because you're like, I'll show you when we're off camera. I'm dealing with the divorce situation right now. They're not talking and I'm having to jump in and do this. It's like you have to be the mediator, the mentor. So like those are not always fun, but I deal with them.
Right.
When you have to work with families who just lost somebody, my mom just passed away. I need you to sell my mom's house. You have to go in there with that compassion, with that, I know what I'm doing. Let me get this done. Let me help you guys. So my job is to take away the stress of buyers or sellers when they're like, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? Even if it's a stressful situation, and where I come in as the expert and just make everything smooth. I would say 98.99999% of my deals are smooth. Everything's like I said. That whatever small percentage, that's the part where it keeps you up at night, where you're like, what's, and some things are out of your control. Some of them are, but some things you can figure out when it's like negotiating or having to give up some commission or just having to make things work. Like that's the hard part of it. But the joy is always at the end and seeing people close and getting their keys. And I've dealt with situations where it wasn't always a happy ending, but I made the situation good for the buyers and sellers.
Okay, good job. Good answer.
Thank
I'm
you.
not even going, because I could ask 4 or 5, but
Yes.
I won't do that. Number 2, what is the importance of owning a home?
Ooh, come on now, Larry. Can you guys see? I literally got goosebumps because it's the importance, your family, your legacy, your inheritance, your who you are. If you want to be working at 70, or if you want to be retired because you've bought a property that you knew was going to make money. So I feel like buying a home is not just buying a home. I feel like it's your future. So when we talk about people buying these homes, it's not just for them, it's for generations to come.
Right.
Like I told you, I've seen people that have bought in houses for $200,000. That same house is now worth $2 million. And guess what? When that person goes to sell, they're going to get all of that money. So if you do things the right way, pay your mortgage, pay your taxes, don't refinance every time you think that the rates are going down. Don't pull out money every time you think you need to go on a vacation, or really use that as an investment. And I think that, one, you're always going to have a place to live. Your mortgage is going to be set for a certain amount. When you rent, your rent goes up. You don't know when they're going to come and kick you out. It's like a safety blanket. Like, I have a home for my family.
Nice.
You can pass that down. You can turn that into an investment property. So for me, it's about stability. It's about financial freedom. And it's about the bigger investment that you can pass down. Because in Colorado, homes are going to appreciate at least 5 to 6.5% a year, guarantee. And I have a chart, and I'm like, I wish I had it pulled out. I'll get that to you. We can put it in the. So if you look at homes, it's going to go up. I don't know what the Illinois market is, what California, Texas, but Colorado, if you buy a house, you're going to make some money, guaranteed.
Right. Love to hear that. That's a great way to answer the question. It helps the importance of legacy, of wealth transfer, wealth building.
Yes.
Absolutely. And
yes.
you won't ever go broke.
Right.
On
right.
your home. I love that. Okay, here's number 3.
Okay.
What are some ways to overcome the fear of buying a house, and what steps should people take to begin the journey?
Good question. Larry, I've been teaching free real estate classes for over 15 years right here in our community. We do them every Saturday. Every last Saturday of the month. We used to do them in person before COVID. And we do these because we give the information. It's really not that hard to buy a house. People hear stuff on the news. They hear their neighbor. They hear somebody that has a 400 credit score that could not get approved, but that's who they're listening to. So I feel like if you really do want to buy a house, separate yourself from people that don't know what they're talking about, because sometimes they can deter you. Come to one of our classes. They're free. If you want to come to my class, go to any buyer's class. Like, reach out to a realtor and say, hey, I want to buy. Like, what are the first steps? Because so many people think, oh, I have to put down 20%, and I have to put down $50,000, or I have to bring closing costs. I have so many clients where they're walking away with checks at closing, where they're like, here's $5,000 because April got you such a good deal. She got you this grant, this grant. There's so many programs out there right now, but it's fear. The fear comes from not being educated. So that's why I want to come in and educate my people and say, y'all, look, here's this. I just had a class. We just did our class last month. There's over $50,000 in grants with just one bank right now. Some of the money you have to give back, some of it you don't, but there's different programs. There's affordable housing. People think, oh, if I want to buy a house in Colorado, it's $800,000. I just closed on 3 houses right over here, single family homes with the backyard parking upstairs, downstairs, brand new for $330,000.
Wow. Wow.
So again, it's educating people. That's all it comes down to, is educating. So buyers, do not be afraid. I'll give you guys my information. I'll do free consultations. You guys can come to our classes. I want to educate you guys. I want you guys to be in these positions to be able to have that generational wealth.
Absolutely. As we teach prosperity, wealth building, and just general stewardship within the confines of church, especially Black church, we have to make sure that they're educated.
Absolutely.
So we can overcome fear, make these purchases, and watch God's favor be on our lives. I'm gonna have to have you come over and teach a class.
I would love that
at the church. Absolutely.
I would love that.
And then we'll coordinate. I'll let you share all your information, so that way if they can't catch us there, they can come here.
Yeah, and we record them, so I'm like, I can send them to people, but our information is so good, and every time that we have a class, there's usually a buyer. Like, I didn't even think this is such good information. Yeah. So
you are giving hope, and you don't even know it.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love it. Okay, I'm trying to move because number 4. How does this work bring you joy and fulfillment?
Oof, this is my passion. Like, I used to say when I had my real estate company, Denmon Realty, I was like, this is my baby. Like, I got a whole 10-year-old baby that I've birthed, that I've did everything with. So it's my passion. Like, I get up every day. Like, I love what I do. There has not been a day where I'm like, oh, I hate real estate. And so I know that I'm great at what I do. I'm actually an expert at what I do. So when I give my services to my clients, that makes me just so happy. And so my business, like, I don't pay for ads. Everything is referrals or people I've worked with before, because I really care that much, and I put so much into the clients that I'm working with, where I feel good knowing, oh, they're good. Like, they didn't have to bring no money. They got this grant, because again, I go to classes every week, so that I'm making sure I'm staying up on top of what I do. Awesome. So this is just work that I pray to God I'm able to do it another 20 plus years, because this is absolutely my calling and my passion.
Love to hear that. It brings you joy and fulfillment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Lastly, what do you hope your legacy will be?
So I definitely want to leave a legacy, and that's why I named my group after my last name. So my dad, Denmon, I wanted to just everyone to know Denmon. So I want to be known for being a good person, for really helping people, for saying we looked up to April, like, she helped us, she motivated us. Like, I am finding out later in my life that I have this calling, and I'm like, it's there, and it's real, and I help people, and I'm like, I get messages almost weekly from people just like, you really, just things you said to me, or I was at a school talking and you said this, or just knowing that I'm doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing. It just really, it fills my heart.
Good. This is legacy work.
This is
not just for you, but just what you said for clients who will buy homes, and then children who will inherit those homes.
Yes.
And then wealth that we gained and built. So your legacy, your name, and what you do long term. I love to hear that.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you see it that way. So
yes.
It's total relational work. I think that's important that people hear you say it.
Thank you.
And you give inspiration and hope to little brown and Black girls all over the place who get a chance to see you do what you do, be successful.
Yes.
And pivot and make the adjustment. I'm guaranteed that somebody's going to watch this and begin to have a little bit more encouragement about going after their dreams.
Yeah. And then one thing too that I was going to say, I didn't share this in the beginning, and I've shared it before. So growing up, like I told you, my parents, entrepreneurs, but I was the first person in my family on my mom's side and on my dad's side to graduate from high school.
Oh, wow.
Not college, high school.
Yeah.
So For me, it was personal. It was like, I want to do it. So I'm like, I've, of course, faced many challenges, obstacles, but I'm like, if you really want to do it, nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you didn't have the parents or if you don't have that mentor, like you have it in yourself, and you have to find those avenues or those people that are going to help you. For me, I feel like Clark Atlanta University was one of those things. Like it really molded me kind of like the business person and just who I am. And so I just feel like people have to find that and don't give up. And the way the world is set up now, when I first started doing real estate, I was looking at homes on maps. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have Google.
Right.
So now there's all this chat GPT and AI, and use all that to get what you want and don't let anybody stop you.
Yeah.
So like that would be my message to young girls, young guys. Like it doesn't matter what your path looks like. It doesn't matter what your where you're going now, you can get there. Just don't let anybody stop you.
Yeah. No, this is what you said. Is even using the setbacks as steps towards where you're going. Right. So you just got to keep moving.
Right.
Don't stop yet.
Yes.
Had you passed the LSATs, we wouldn't be sitting here having.
Yes, I'd be in some miserable courtroom, just gray. I don't have no gray hair. I'm like 45. I'm like, I'm just happy. Like this is just happiness.
Right.
So yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you discovered your purpose.
Thank you.
I'm glad you can look back, not without any regrets, but certainly with what we like to say, a smile on your face.
Yes.
I'm excited for you taking out some time to be here. I can't wait for this to air when we get a chance to highlight some pictures of you and your father.
Okay.
And some of the great quotes you were able to share today.
Mm-hmm.
You answered all the 5 questions fabulously. You gave me extra bonus questions or bonus answers too. Something I didn't even have to ask. I was going to ask. You laid it all out there. I appreciate that so much. Listen, I want to make sure that you tell everybody, give them your website, your phone number, so they can reach out with any questions that they have, and that we'll try to figure out a way to air the time you're teaching the class. But since I got you, go ahead and tell them. Give me your website.
Yes. Okay. So the website is www.denmongroup.com. That's DENMONGROUP.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Denmon Group. You can also find me on Facebook, on LinkedIn. And like I said, we do the classes every last Saturday of the month. But if there's any questions, if you're like, I just want to call, I don't know what it looks like, call me. I'll walk you through it. I have people to help you. There's no dumb questions. And if you don't make that first initial leap, you're always going to be stuck where you're at now. A lot of buyers say, oh, I don't want to pay the high interest rates or this and that. Just know if you're renting, you're paying 100% interest rate. So please take that first step. Let me know how I can help. And I have a great team. We would love to help you guys. Okay. Thank you.
See? Great salesman. Great salesman. That was amazing. It was a great invitation. So I'm looking forward to hearing back. Okay. And then we'll work to get you over. All right.
Okay.
I'm actually going to sign a copy of my book and leave it with you. It's a daily devotional. I don't know where you can put it, but you stick it somewhere.
Oh, nice.
If you ever decide to read something.
I know. See, I might have to start. Okay. Good to know.
Listen, April, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope to talk to you even more beyond this time and space.
Yes.
We'll figure out some way to do some stuff inside the community.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Pastor Larry Thomas. Welcome and thank you for watching Blue Suit Chronicles. You have a great day.